Hallo? Guckst du mit? F6. Party Royale ist das aber auch. Soll ich dich einladen oder? Ich lade dich jetzt ein. Warte. Ach, nur der Großleinwand wird das gezeigt. Ja. Hallo? Und tschüss. Ich habe ihn nicht gekickt, er ist von alleine rausgegangen. Okay, habe ich eingeladen. Kommst du? Wie lange geht das eigentlich? Weißt du das? Mhm. Nein, wie lange geht das, meine ich? Sehr lange bestimmt. Ich denke, mein Lieblingstyp ist ja auch dabei, Buka. Der ist ja ins Finale gekommen. So. Großleinwand, das ist glaube ich die da hinten. Ja, alle gehen schon dahin. Ich hoffe, es ist auf Deutsch. Aber ich denke auf Englisch. Du hast noch Zeit. Hallo?
DS?
Ja, bei Fortnite.
Oha, 80.000 für den ersten, Digga.
Gleich. Knacks.
Was?
Nein, ich meine nicht dich. Du heißt nicht Knacks, also.
Mit wem redest du denn? Dem anderen?
Der mit dem Stream ist
Und wie viele Abos hast du?
irgendwas um die 200.
Wie viele Zuschauer?
Ja, ein. Pro-Gamer. Knacks heißt der.
Hat die erste Runde schon begonnen? Ja, ne?
Nein. Hä, woher kenne ich dich, Renek, Digga? Ich kenne dich gar nicht.
Keine Ahnung. Ich spiele auch gerade Teams. Ich gehe Spielchat, okay? Okay, ich komme in ein paar Minuten wieder nach der Runde. Ich gucke in FNCS.
Ja.
Bis gleich.
Man hört die Emotes gar nicht mehr. Man hört die Emotes gar nicht mehr, habe ich gesagt. Ich hoffe, es geht gleich los, Alter. Dran. Zwei Minuten noch. Kopf oder Zahl? Bumm. Kopf.
Hallo,
Oder Ghost.
was geht?
Und schon mitbekommen, Last of Us 2 neues Update, neue Platin-Trophäe. Hast du schon mitbekommen? Gibt neue Trophäen, neues Update.
Achso, meinst du mit dem neuen, diese Erbarmungslos?
Es gibt jetzt Cheats und alles in dem Spiel. Man kann cheaten,
Cheat.
unendlich Munition, alles.
Ja,
Alles
das ist
drin.
scheiße. Wusste ich jetzt nicht, aber das ist scheiße. Guckst du denn gerade ein Live-Event? Oder?
Ja, FNCS, wo die besten Fortnite-Spieler mitspielen. Guck ich jetzt. FNCS ist da, Dings ist dabei, Buga, der beste World Cup, beste Spieler der Welt. Glaube ich jedenfalls. Ich komme gleich. So, Jungs, ich gehe jetzt mal kurz essen, aber ich verpasse ja eh nichts. Also, tschüss.
Das Kind, Junge.
is going on, Fortnite fam? Welcome to the Fortnite Champion Series. After the heats yesterday, we find ourselves here at the summit, the Fortnite Champion Series Grand Finals. After today, one player in every region will be able to hold the axe of champions high. The hype is here. We are excited, and we cannot wait to get into this. You're joining us in Party Royale. What's up, everybody? Thanks for having us. We're here to have a good time, watch some cool Fortnite action, their emotes, throw the grenades around, purple, orange, whatever your favorite color is. We'll have a great time. With that being said, I'm your host, Zeke, joining us here on the analyst desk. We got Shy Wager, we got Ballad TW. Guys, I mean, the hype is so real right now.
I mean, I'm between hyped, excited, and every other amazing, awesome word because we've been watching along with these guys playing the FNCS solos for so many weeks, and right now, this weekend, today, it's the finale.
Yeah, I couldn't be more excited because grand finals for FNCS always means that we get some very, very exciting competitive Fortnite action, and we're going to bring the energy, we're going to bring the fire, and I know these players are too.
Oh, man, of course, we are going to get into the show, but first, very quickly, do not forget, we are tuning into all things EU. We are going to take a break, and then later on, we'll be back to wrap up NA East on the day. With that being said, let's take a look at the format itself. Yesterday, we saw the Heats break down 100 players, but only the top 25 advance, and now they find themselves here in the Grand Finals.
Heats, these were happening yesterday. Now it's the 100 best players, all the way from the thousands, hundreds of thousands displayed. 6 final matches, 1 FNCS champion per region, and this is the format that breaks everything down.
Yeah, if you're unfamiliar, you get placement, or you get points for placement, you get points for elimination. 14 points total for placing highest, for achieving that victory royale, and that will matter so much over all of everything, but you've got to find the balance. You've got to find some eliminations because that is kind of some guaranteed points every time you pick one up. And the placements, well, you have to see how it is. It's very difficult to actually win in a competitive game.
Right, man. 100 of the very best will clash and battle it out. Now, of course, what's on the line here? The Axe of Champions will be that trophy that they can take into game and let the others in the lobby recognize them as a champion, but also take a look at your prizing breakdown here. $80,000 for first place. And of course, everyone that has made it this far will walk away with something, which is awesome to see. And I mean, even if they were to place last, you still have to recognize the 100 best players in EU. Make sure to recognize them for their skill. Here is an overall breakdown of EU. $800,000 available there, and then NA East, which we will be back for later. And don't forget, we have other regions breaking down there as well, which we will take a look at in a moment. But real quick, guys, I gotta talk about something that's near and dear to my heart. That's Batman. Genius comes in many forms. Whether you're dangerously funny, creating havoc with wild plants, or flooding the island with your best intentions, it often comes along with a companion, madness. Become everyone's nemesis with the Last Laugh bundle featuring the Joker, Poison Ivy, Midas Rex, matching cosmetics, and 1,000 V-Bucks. You can pre-order the bundle through your favorite retailers, and it will be available on November 17th. So definitely check out the blog for all the details. And if you can't wait for more DC characters, Harley Quinn, Catwoman, and my personal favorite Batman will be back in the item shop for a limited time. Get their cosmetic sets before they disappear into the night. And of course, let's not forget Joyride has hit the game, and we will not be seeing vehicles in the competitive playlist. So keep in mind as we are watching. Now, guys, I did kind of touch on it just a moment ago. We do have those other regions that are facing off. We should probably check with OCE and see how things are going.
I think we should for sure because the competition over there was a preview of everybody else. These guys got the first taste of the Grand Finals action, and if you watched last night, it was certainly nice. And we got to award our first Axe of Champions.
Yep, the axe is given out all the way towards the winner, and this man's going to be having that big axe to use towards the entire next season. It's going to be awesome to see. The winner of OCE overall was, of course, Jinx, RNG, Jinxie Fishy, and total points of 75, the Oceanic champion. What a run that he had above the rest.
Yeah, it was ridiculous. And this man was contested, too. For yours unfamiliar with what that means off spawn, when he dropped, there was somebody fighting him, which means that it's very difficult to do what he did. But 75 points. And something else to note about Jinx, this is a man of stature, somebody somebody who has won the previous FNCS, so he was already holding on to that Axe of Champion. He gets to maintain going into this.
Winners stay winning because as well, from second place all the way down to 10th, very familiar names. Refalse, Asfit, Rax, Worthy all the way up to second, Zore, Leia, Moose, Link at 7th, and then Fresh at 6th, who was playing so phenomenally over during the day, had some help from Arab coaching him throughout the entire process. Past that, 2 on the second page of Oceania, 11th down to 20th place. It is the same names we keep seeing, but look how close it was overall. Look at the prize money these guys got broken down. 40 points down to 36. Mountain holding 11th. RBK, I don't know, which is Volks holding down all the way to the 20th slot.
Close competition, and this is going to be a nice identifier here as we get ready for EU. I mean, watch these point thresholds. Look at how close that is. We will more than likely see this in EU unless someone decides to break away. With that being said, though, Asia also has a champion. Fram #1 holding down that #1 spot, 47 points, no big trails, but 11 elimination and an average placement of 25th. That in itself is a statement to be made, and now he will hold the Axe of Champions.
But it was so close, Seek. Look at the eliminations, 11 for him over 6 games. That is slightly under 2 elims. And you know what? It counts. Everything matters. Tiebreakers certainly do in this case. 3 people tied for points at first place. That is ridiculous. Unheard of. Haruyuko from the second. Peter Pan. Unfortunately, these guys fell in the tiebreak of eliminations. Fram the age.
Still, another tiebreaker back-to-back, 44 points, always through, from 3rd all the way down to 7th place. That is insane to see. Still, that story continues on the second page. Asia was so close, so competitive. And as you mentioned, Bala, every elimination did indeed matter. Once again, Rizart down to Riru from 11th to 13th place. They were tied. You go all the way down to 18th to 20th. Waldhawk, Bob, these guys were tied too. And it was their individual performance every game
Und?
that stood out. So remember, every single
Hallo?
game we watched today.
Keck?
And this is something we're going to talk
Kick.
about for the whole time, right? Is every interaction matters. Every time
Kick.
will square up. One of them will
Wo ist der hin, der andere?
while the other is allowed to continue.
Keine Ahnung. Hat er nicht gehört.
While the other that lost has to wait. They have to reset and come back into the game with a fresh mindset and hope to earn more points.
Oha, als ob. Die letzten 30 kriegen 600 Euro, Alter. Hoho. Wie viel sind 600 Dollar überhaupt in Euro? Alter. Oh, Mongral ist auch dabei. Oha, Mongral. Idiot.
Er kann Play, du tust jetzt live zuschauen oder was?
Nee.
And they've gone through so many different hurdles. We had 4 heats in total. Top 25 qualifiers.
Juch, Mongral, Digga, der ist OP, Alter.
Final 100.
Oh, der wird.
These guys are at the
Hoffentlich nimmt
top
er wieder alle
of their
Stops.
game, and they're going to be playing against other people who are used to
Monkal ist halt einfach eine Legende.
Scouts, Keziks, 7-Tool, Mongrel,
Ey, nächste Season kommt die alte Map wieder, ne?
to get another title.
Ich weiß, hast schon gesagt.
Achso, ja.
Wirst du vielleicht The Last of Us Part 2 auf Erbauungslos versuchen zu spielen? Oder hast du
Ich
keinen
ja,
Bock?
Digga, ich hab richtig Bock. Ich werde es mir gleich wieder runterladen. Ich hab's ja gelöscht.
Was hast du gelöscht?
Ja, Last of Us habe ich gelöscht. Muss ich wieder runterladen. Ich will das
Meinst du Remastered oder Part 2?
Part 2, meine ich.
Hm. Ihr sagt jetzt mal, mach erstmal diese letzten Trophäen, die letzten beiden für Platin. Dann kannst du überhaupt auf Erbauungslos auf Schillig spielen.
And follow your favorite old ones too, like Let's
Macht von meinen Augen mehr Sinn, glaube ich.
winner winning a back-to-back game.
Ah ja, ich kann mal gucken wegen Erbarmungslos. Warte mal kurz, ich mal gucken.
Dachte mir bei The Last of Us so, bei Remastered Online liegen, bei den Trophäen liegen, bei bei Ende die Hunter-Reise und bei den Details-Reise.
Schließ die Geschichte mit einer aktivierten, endgültigen Tod auf deiner beliebigen Einstellung ab. Oha. Was ist überhaupt erbarmungslos, Digga?
Erbauungslos, das geht wird unmöglich, nur. Lass was ich muss da, weil ich bis jetzt so ultra schwer ist. Ich habe Überlebender gespielt, zwar ist es nicht so unbedingt schwer, aber erbarmungslos. Ich weiß nicht. Also ist ja nicht so schwer, nur du verlierst halt viel Heal und...
Ja, aber du kannst ja eh
Ach,
cheaten bei
Kombos.
mit Barmuckslos, dann geht alles easy.
Ja, aber
Was?
ich glaube, wenn er cheatet, dann kriegst du das Trophäe gar nicht. Bei der Welt
Na
fährt nicht
doch,
auf 0,1. Auf Ultrawelten wäre es
klar
keinen Sinn machen.
kriegst du da die Sachen noch. Du cheatet ja da im Spiel noch nicht die Trophäe. Ich glaube, das ist so ein Modus, wo man so viel cheaten kann, wie man will.
Ich glaube nicht. Ich glaube, dass du in Minecraft gemacht hast, zum Beispiel nicht Kreativmodus Trophäen machen kannst. Jetzt kommt mir was anderes, aber so als Beispiel. Bei der Welt die Trophäe nur auf, keine Ahnung, 78,2% die Leute haben. Bei 0,1 macht da keinen Sinn. Da. Egal, versuch's mal.
Mach
Aber
aber
ich spiel erstmal. Spielst du heute noch, fängst du heute noch erbarmungslos an, oder?
Nee, morgen. Ich muss es erst wieder runterladen, das war's.
Willst du dann auch, lass dich wie man Leute überleben das spielen? Wegen der Trophäe?
Weiß ich noch nicht.
Ich sag dir, macht das am Ende bei den Fireflies ist es ein bisschen Abfuck, weil du kaum Munition hast und kaum hier. Aber so, an sich ist glaube ich nicht schwer unbedingt. Auf der Stelle mit diesem Sniper da. Weißt du noch, diese Stelle?
Ah, wo ist dieser Keck, Digga? Kirmi, ich weiß nicht. Ne?
Keine Ahnung. Schreck ihn mal an oder so, aber viel sein. Vielleicht hat er sich geschoben.
Ach, hat er ein neues Headset? Mike? Mike, hast du ein neues Headset? Okay, er hat mich nicht. Nicht Hurensohn, Digga, den kenne ich länger als du, Digga. Hör auf ihn. Oh,
Okay.
Gepiepe, Digga, Alter.
Aber stimmt dann bestimmt. Wie lang kennst du den?
Schon länger als du. So.
Mehrere Jahre schon.
Ja, ja.
Kennt er schon Real Life?
3, 4 Jahre kenne ich den schon. Sein Headset, Alter, oh, Digga.
Auch in Real Life?
Ja, klar kenne ich den in Real Life.
Okay.
Ich dachte, er hat ein neues Headset, Digga. Oder hat er jetzt ein neues? Ich höre gar nicht, was richtig piept, Alter.
Gar keinen Plan, was ich mal machen soll. Gar keinen Bock auf The Last of Us. Was heißt Online-Modus? Der ist so gay, Alter. Entweder deine Mates sind scheiße und die Gegner sind absolut die
Jetzt
größten
besser.
Schütze.
Ist dein Headset kaputt oder was ist Neues? So.
Redet er überhaupt bei dir?
Ja, er redet, bei mir hat ich gestummt.
Ja, aber bei mir höre ich bei seinem Mikrofon, also ich höre es wie so. Guck mal, mein Part wird angezeigt, dass man redet oder nicht. Ich höre ihn nicht, aber es wird angezeigt irgendwie. Dass er redet irgendwie. Normalerweise ist er nicht so.
Digga, FNCS ist krass, ey.
Ich guck dir mal kurz zu. Am Stream.
Der rasiert ja alles da, Digga, Mongrel ist auch dabei. Junge, ein und alles Hops, dieser. Ich höre dich noch, ja, ganz leise.
Hey Leute, so Bildschirm, Digga. Geil. Man gerade einfach Ende die.
Man kriegst eigentlich ein neues. Ist okay. Achso.
0 Zuschauer.
Boah, ich freue mich schon gleich auf Mongrel, wenn der kommt. Der wird heftig.
Geil ist aber gemacht, dass es so im Fortnite so ein Bildschirm siehst, wo du dann so gucken kannst.
Letztens haben die sogar die App gezeigt auf dem Bildschirm. iPhone und Smartphone-Spieler gibt's ja jetzt nicht mehr. Nach dem Event, Mike, übrigens, nach dem Event kommt der Riss vom Season 5 wieder im Himmel.
Keine Ahnung, was ist das?
Also nach dem Event, also wenn das vorbei ist, dieser Cup und alles, dann kommt der Riss im Himmel. Und dann am Samstag, und dann am Samstag kommt Live-Event. Am Samstag, diesen Samstag.
Ey, warte.
Ach, ich glaub, Sundauf, doch, den kenne ich auch irgendwoher, den Typen, der mit seinem Headset. Nicht den dicken, sondern den anderen.
Die anderen Dicken.
Nein, nein, diesen. Es fühlt sich so echt an, als ob man wirklich da mitspielt, Digga. Oha, wie viele? Juh, wie viele da sind. Oha, Oha. Juh, alle sind Mitte gegangen. Nee, die meisten sind Dings gegangen. Fortilla. Fortilla. Fortilla sind die meisten. Hä, warum Handlanger? Ist er auch dabei? Ja, hab ich gesehen. Oha, Mike, Mike, ich will auch mal bei diesen Preisgeldern mitmachen bei den Dingern. Ich hab irgendwie Bock. Ist das mit Preisgeld, ja, ne? Der kriegt dann die Spitzhacke, stimmt, der kriegt ja dann die Spitzhacke. Die neue Spitzhacke. Der Gewinner. Aber die soll anders aussehen, die soll neu aussehen, es gibt eine neue dann. Eine neue Spitzhacke. Ist nicht die gleiche, hat mir Felix erzählt. Und Buga zeigen sie, glaube ich, auch, ne? Auch noch, den. Den freue ich mich schon, Digga, auf Buga. Oh, der wird so flexen. Den finde ich besser als Ninja. Ein Deutscher ist auch dabei, habe ich gesehen. Ein Deutscher. Der war irgendwie 25. Platz oder so. 15. Platz. Oh. Er hat ihn geholt. Er hat ihn geholt. Der eine hat ihn geholt. Boah, bei Dings macht es mehr Bock zu gucken. Also bei dieser Party Royale. Ja, finde ich. Früher, als man immer gezockt hat, Season 4, dann konnte man das immer gucken. Bei Creative. Oder bei was anderes. Jetzt haben sie es auf Leinwand gemacht. Voll geil. Oh, er ist tot, der Deutsche. Der Deutsche ist tot. Doch, doch, der Deutsche wurde geholt. Da stand DE. Der ist doch Deutsch. Oh, er hat eine goldene Ska, Alter. Ja, Mann. Die landen aber immer alle Arsch der Welt, sehe ich gerade. Ach, Raffia, den kenne ich auch irgendwoher. Raffia. Ja. Da ist er. Links fuck. Oh, jetzt ist heftig.
Nicht auf.
Oh, Mr. X, den kenne ich. Den kenne ich. Mr. X. Den kenne ich natürlich. Den habe ich schon mal gesehen, einmal gesehen. Ja. Oh, was? Raffi hat ihn geholt, ja. Hoffala. Ja. Oh, Where's Mistro? Ja, den kenne ich auch. Den kenne ich auch. Where's Mistro?
in Maestro. Maestro starting off this side on the front foot. The pedal
Mhm.
is down. Maestro wants to just continue to push down. Shots go through. He's getting back to the wall. And Wolfie's is going to go
Oha.
down.
That was a huge pickup there from Maestro Wolfies, who was the second place finisher in the duos of the World Cup. We've seen him play so aggressively, the young player
Ist er
from
besser oder
Germany,
was?
but when he's put on the back foot, it can be a little bit challenging there. Maestro did come through, got dropped down to 40
Ja, ist besser.
HP,
Hast du recht.
but don't forget, in arena and tournament settings, there is that siphoned enabled. That means when you eliminate an opponent, you will get either 50
Oh,
HP
die
or
Handlanger.
50 shield back,
Das sind
depending
sie.
on which one you end up needing. It prioritizes health first, and then they will also drop all of their materials,
Oh, Ente.
their loot, and an
Ja, Ente.
additional
Der Deutsche.
150 materials, so an extra 15 builds that you can go over and sweep up. That ends up being really key.
Juch, er holt ihn.
Losing the late
Headshot.
game now, as we're on board here with the Ventex, who
Aber die, die da mitgemacht haben, kriegen trotzdem Preisgeld, ne?
foot.
Also die.
He is, but luckily enough for him, Fresh does not have any shield pop. Now, it's not going to be as good as he is going to be finding time to get those minis in that big shield popping. Intel over there needs to find an aggressive push into the box. It needs to catch him off guard. If Ventex is not able to get this medkit off, this does not look well
Das ist
for them.
wirklich, ja.
It seems like the medkit will be popped, so he does get back to fighting HP. Under 15 HP.
Er will ihn spitzhacken. Also Internet liegt.
On the back foot. That's
Oh,
exactly
jetzt.
what he needed to do. He needed to turn that defense that he was waiting on into that offensive moment. And now Fresh is in a very bad situation.
Ich weiß.
Remaining, no HP to really work with. He's gonna have to hit a
Er
really
holt
big
ihn.
charge shot there.
Oh mein Gott, er holt ihn
Not
jetzt.
gonna connect on these shots. He goes to the box.
Oh, Headshot, Alter.
Hits the shot,
Hat ihn
and
geholt.
that's another elimination for him.
Auch geile Ran, Digga. Geh doch mal runter, Digga.
Needed to hit that big charge shot, holding it up and punishing the player, and particularly when you see
Stör mich doch
players
nicht beim
cross the
Gucken,
ball
Alter.
right with
Scheiß
that
schwarzer
lineup.
Ritterskin.
It's really difficult if you're not able to get that finish
Oh,
right away.
der Snipe.
Like no luck,
Der
Nevis is there
Snipe.
finding Kira to close out the fight because you can have
Er geht noch.
Don't even
Oh,
forget my point
was
there.
halt Snipe.
Nevi showing
Sorry,
the
hat
power
er
of the
genommen.
hunting rifle, showing up, catching two players on the outside. However, looking the
Juh,
ball breaking.
er hat beide,
Player is now rotating.
er hat beide genommen.
Nevi, get all of these
Er hat beide
resources,
hochgenommen.
get out without getting engaged on, but those are two monstrous shots. He's got to feel
Er hat
confident
beide
there, and
hochgenommen, ey.
definitely not
Mit
living
Sniper.
up to his name. Plenty of luck going on.
And you took the words from my mouth.
Alter, wie er die beiden geholt hat.
Some
Boom, boom, weg.
amazing aim there, just getting what he needed to get started. However, someone who is not having amazing luck is Janice right now. 134 effective HP. I mean, he's fought
Ach ja, ja.
on rotation. Now
Den kenn
he
ich
is
auch.
going into the orchard, which does allow these campfires and the apples that drop.
Ist er Deutsch, ja?
Or consume. He's going to be in a good spot. He's able to really farm
So.
up. But Janice drops Stevie stacks. And look at his medal count. It was only 97. I'm out of Stevie with only 97
So,
medals
ist er
is
so
not
gut?
what he's used to. And this is definitely impacting his gameplay.
Yeah, and it's going to be tough there. Also,
Oha.
players will know where he is, stoking that campfire, putting off the smoke.
Aber er hat noch keinen Kill.
See him, those apples dropping, but instead opting to burn the extra wood. Good trade-off there and good awareness of where he was on the map. However, you do see Spen is lurking.
Gegner hinter dir. Janis hinter dir, Gegner. Der kippt da. Hol ihn doch.
Dennis over on the side.
Oh,
and he
ja,
does
das wird
it
gekillt.
real quick. That's the problem. Again, we talk about it, the hunting rifle on the side. If you're not ready for it, it can be a game ender right there. You get caught out farming. And honestly, I think that's a little bit on Janice there. You don't want to be on the edge of the zone and caught gaining materials. Like, yes, you did just get in. You can feel safe. You're back up at that 100 health, 100 shield threshold. But you have to know other players are rotating from that side and going to be behind you. And Spen is actually going to get harassed there.
Oha, 3 Stück. Juch, alle 3 Stück da.
Three-way fight going on.
Oha.
Oh, and now already down to just two
Oh, er holt ihn.
players.
Er zieht sich durch.
The boxes and getting the shots,
Boom.
being up two eliminations back to back.
AX.
Luck ain't gonna fall there.
Ja.
These are what you need to do in solos. You need to get into the box and you need to finish the elimination.
Der hat sich sogar den neuen Skin im Shop gegönnt.
If you come and you fight and you box fight and you build fight, and more people are going to come and they're going to realize that, and you are going to fall. So very good play there from controller.
And so far, it's been the story of the third party. You hear players talk about it all the time, whether it's your friend or your favorite streamer. That third party is the extra player who comes in. So if you're taking a 1v1, then somebody else rotating by says, oh, you guys are preoccupied. First, we saw Nebi picking up the two
Oh,
shots there. The
Arian.
controller closing it out with that epic
Arian.
shotgun. Going to be on board here.
Aber ist nicht der YouTuber, Arian.
Arian. You see
Nein,
him
sei.
pull off a number of plays, but again, really good at kind of those ambush-style tactics, as you can see here. Trying to set up a little bit on this player who's rotating in front of him.
Mhm.
corner that is the next storm.
Oh, die sind alle in der Zone.
See, we're
Außer
playing
dann.
a little bit central. We're just kind of south
Yep.
the authority, or just
Da
over
oben
the
ist einer.
authority, with a little bit of a
Da oben.
southwestern side there. So most of the players will have time to settle
Oh,
down. Some
scheiße.
players will have tons of priority, and Storm Surge has just turned on to something you might not be familiar with if you're watching there. So Storm Surge is actually on in every game, but is only activated when you're above a certain number of players left. That number of players for the third zone is 70, so with 83 players currently left, 13 will be impacted. What it does is those who haven't done enough damage to the opposing players will then take 25 damage every 10 seconds. So try and encourage a little bit of active play, which we see
Oh,
here
er
from
hat ihn.
Orion taking out Queasy.
Er hat
He's
ihn.
going to be queasy about that, just being game ended right there before the rotation occurs, not picking up any points in that match.
And what a smart play. He went in different angles and didn't just crash back
Der hat
to
ihn
the top.
richtig auseinandergenommen.
He would have been expecting that and found an angle, got
Ah, da oben ist noch einer. Über ihn.
That also, with Storm Surge, it causes people to make plays like that. Arion may have decided that, you know what, a couple tags were good, I'm good to go, move on. They put him pretty high up in the Storm Surge, but he didn't want to take the chance. He wanted to make sure he was above at least 100 damage on the threshold. So he decided, I got to go in, I got to get to the box, because when Storm Surge starts hitting you, nobody's going to let you shoot them. No one's going to let you even look at them. They're going to be sitting in their boxes. They're going to sit there and wait and not even open windows, not even make any movements, because they know, hey, that guy's getting hit by a big purple lightning bolt. We can't attack him. Is well, all of a sudden Phoenix is actually going in, but maybe a little bit of a misplay as he gets eliminated.
Gets punished right away, and Tigwe has everything you could possibly want for a box fight there. I mean, just look at the loadout, having the epic tactical shotgun, the epic burst AR, crash pads, plenty of shields. So Phoenix might have felt a little pressure to go in and create some space, but Tigwe punishing very succinctly there as now we swing on board. Milan, Seventor, Kiko, and Anas all directly on top of each other. They become legends. Anas has played incredibly well. Clement also joining in on the party, and this is what we talk about, that Storm Surge. All the players who below, Anas being one of them, are going to be forced to find tags. That damage is going to start coming through. He's going to need to convert on it, and he converts brilliantly there, picking up Supremacy's Clement in number 1 elimination, and also closing in on that first placement threshold play.
It was such a beautiful play by Anas because he knew Clement had that bush. He said, you know what, he's going to go for the pickaxe. I'm just going to go ahead and edit that wall out so he can get the initial shot, and that got him the elimination. That initial shot there gave him the damage just to follow up with another tack shot. And with that rare tactical shotgun, it does a lot of damage if you're able to hit all the pellets, and that's exactly what he did. Now, on his way, he got the pepper placement threshold, just came through as well, and now he's moving in. He's got a very great loadout to secure himself a very good placement here. And we know Anas is very, very capable, like we talked about. And he's already stalking another player. He's looking to take down AX Controller.
Yeah, and that's Controller 007 from the FNCS Invitational. We saw him have a number of really solid performances. Still need 3 players to go down from that Storm Surge threshold, but Anas just trying to kind of follow in this rotation path, get as close to the center of the zone. So if you're kind of new to watching competitive Fortnite, joining for the first time in Party Royale or Twitch or YouTube or Twitter or watchfortnite.com, what do you care about as you're watching this game as Anas will take it down, or what are you looking for? Mongrel and Thomas HD also picking up eliminations. Not opponents are picking up, people are picking up eliminations.
Der hat 3 Punkte,
You see
Junge.
that to the right of the player's name that's right next to kind of the little mark there. And that will represent 1 point every single time.
Aber es sind jetzt richtig viele, Mike.
Additionally, you're worried about them picking up placement points. In this format, the first one occurs after 25 players have gone down. Then the next one occurs
Ich höre
after
dich gar
20
nicht mehr,
players have gone down.
Mike.
Then it's every 10 and 5 players. So when somebody ends up falling in 41st or 31st or 26th, that's a huge changeover. But now, during the middle part of the game, as everyone's rotating through, what they're looking to do is establish space for themselves, make sure they're safe, and then find tags so they're not threatened by that Storm Surge that we were talking about ahead of time. Because now we hop on board here with MCS X Squeezy, who has placed top 25 in 78% of his games this FNCS, best in the EU, and that's something to contrast with the fact that he also plays really aggressive in the early and the mid game. If he gets caught out and he's able to convert, he's had some of the highest elimination totals throughout the entirety of the FNCS club.
And I was going to say, I'm surprised he's not going into this player's box that's literally just fishing in front of him. Someone else tried it, and he's waiting. you can tell he wants to get in this box. As soon as he sees that player start to make moves into the other box, or maybe he finds out exactly where they are, he wants to go in. But he's got Letwick right above him, so you can tell he's being a little bit more cautious this time around. In the heat and the qualifiers, he knew he had a little bit of leeway after that great performance that he had. He was able to play a little bit more aggressive and still get top 25, which is insanely impressive. Now, the biggest impact of the game right now is going to be this hit shockwave launcher in Thomas HD's inventory. He's already got the elimination because of it. He's also already near the next zone. He doesn't have to rotate very far, which is really good for him because he only has 94 materials.
He only has 94 materials, and he's right by the priority on high zone. This is the 4th zone, which means it's the last safe zone that's completely inside the current safe zone. After that, the 5th one will be the half in, half out, which kind of signals the
Mike?
end Sebi's game there. He's going to be sent back and have to queue up after that, and Thomas hits him with a favor.
Mike?
Hey, if you got that emote and you're in Party Royale, mimic it right now. Let Thomas know you're with him and sending him the aid, because he has a really good shot to ride this game out with where he's positioned. Because pulls to the south and is on this high ground, and he mythic charge shotgun. It's going to be really difficult to force him out of a priority position. He's going to be somebody to watch over the course of this game, who's going to impact the other players around him.
And he's already doing that just by with his radar. He's back to Sebi. He's going to take down passes. And this is very, very good for him because he doesn't have to go too aggressive.
What's Mike?
They're kind of being handed to him here.
Ich bin da.
Taking his
Okay.
grasp of his surroundings, looking at every
Und wer hatte so ein krummeliges Headset?
Ja, wohl, Mike. Er holt es neu.
Ich hab kein Headset an.
Das ist sein Headset, er holt aber neues in 2000.
Ich hab kein Headset.
Ja, oder keine Ahnung, so.
PlayStation kann man das was.
Because that half in, half out is so important in terms of priority. But right now, Reason is 5 below the damage threshold. So once this zone clears, he'll start ticking. You want to keep it eye on the top left and then the bottom right hand corner.
Digga, wer ist noch mit seiner Musik, Alter?
Down to 50 players before Storm Surge turns off, and if anybody we're watching is below the threshold, they'll start taking that 25 damage every 10 seconds. And Reason just able to get himself above it with a nice tag there, and he's starting to get aggressive.
Juch, Alter, nimmt den Hops.
Wieso? Ich will mich auch probieren in Daiko. Ey, und dann dieses Double. So bei Wieso.
Der Ninja hat mir eine FA geschickt. Ninja grün, er weiß das. Okay. Hallo?
Ja.
Dein Freund ist nicht da, der spielt Chat.
Achso. Ich komme auch noch.
Mike?
Ja?
Dein Freund kommt jetzt. Der Cool heißt der. Itch Cool, der kommt jetzt hier rein.
Was ist das denn? Hast du ja gar nicht
Ding, das ist FNCS, das ist eins der besten Spieler.
Ja. Oha, er lasert ihn. Er lasert ihn weg.
Ja. Was ist? Aber echt was ganz.
Oh mein Gott, er holt ihn jetzt. Er hat Bock, irgendwie auf ihn zu holen. Oh, da ist er. Oh mein Gott, er hat den gut.
Oh, hätte er ihn geholt, ne? Er hat ihn.
Boah, ist das spannend, Alter.
Ist bei euch auch die ganze Zeit so eine Stimme?
Ja, das sind die Kommentator.
Das ist ein Kommentator, was du machst.
Du isst dein Popcorn und wir sitzen am Stuhl.
Junge, warum? Oha, ich glaube, der kommt gleich raus, der eine.
Wie kann der? Ach so, wegen Platzierung.
Ja, da waren so 2 Stück und die hat er dann geholt.
Deswegen hat er 2 Punkte. Nur wegen Platzierung. Ey, guck das mal bei der Map an, Alter. Wie da rumgeswattet ist. Ja, in so einer kleinen Zone. Das ist Endgame. Wie geht das? Na gut, außer die Turtle halt dann.
Ja, das geht, dass das so ist. Das geht.
Ja, ja, die turteln halt alle.
Pass mal auf, gleich geht die Zone weiter, was sie dann machen, Digga. Dann will ich mal wissen.
Boah, ich habe auch Bock, diese Arena zu zocken. Ich glaube, mit Arena grinden.
Ich auch. Ich hab richtig Bock. Arena.
Ja, ich auch. Ich habe irgendwie
Oh,
2000
ey,
Punkte.
Boah, Alter.
Voll wenig.
Ich hab 400.
Ja, voll
Alter.
wenig. Das war bei diesem Ding so Galaxy-Konzert, da hab ich einfach gepusht.
Den habe ich schon, den Galaxy.
Wie heißt dieser Skin nochmal?
Welcher?
Aber ich mach beim, Dings Cup mit. Beim
Keine Ahnung.
Remote Cup. Da mache ich mit. Man kann dann in den
Dieses
Emote gewinnen
Skin?
beim Cup.
Was für eins? Was für eins?
Neuen Pokal-Emote.
Dieser rote.
Keine Ahnung, Jahre, glaube ich, Jahre.
Der hat einen Kill gemacht. Der hat einen Kill gemacht.
Ich glaube, roter Jahre heißt der.
So ein Pokal.
Der gerade einen Kill gemacht hat.
Nee, doch nicht.
Froggy kenne ich.
Quartz, Froggy, Quartz, Froggy.
Froggy kenne
Wenn
ich.
ich ehrlich finde, er macht das voll langsam.
Quartz,
Digga.
Froggy.
Er macht es wirklich voll langsam.
Oh mein
Er
Gott.
spielt schlau.
Er hat den geholt fast.
Benji, Fishy, Deceptos,
Fishy, Digga, was sind die?
Skype as well going down there.
Wer spielt Letchi mit? Ey, Letchi spielt mit. Hä, was macht er da?
Sein Internet. Oh, er hat jemand geholt. Er ist leckt. Ist leckt.
Er läuft in die Zone.
Ey, Letchi spielt mit am... Warte, ich guck den linken Bildschirm an. Twitch und lad das Letchi. Streamt er?
Oh, Dings ist auch dabei.
Kann das nicht sehen.
Da ganz oben liegt er richtig auf.
Wie könnt ihr diese Namen lesen? Ich kann, man kann die jetzt von hier so ungefähr.
Belgien.
Man kann es von hier sehen. BL Hen. Achso, nur ich spiele auf PC.
Warum guckt man die ganze Zeit nur den gleichen zu?
Nein, man guckt nicht in den man guckt verschiedene zu.
Meistens gewechselt.
Und gleich kommt noch der
Ah,
beste.
jetzt guck.
Gleich kommt auch noch der beste
Wer ist
Fortnite-Spieler
BL
der Welt.
Hen?
Buga, ist der Buga auch drin?
Ja, Buga ist auch dabei. Den guck ich. Das ist mein
Nein,
Lieblings.
nein, das ist Europa. Das ist Europa.
Man kann ja gar nicht mit Spielzeug machen. Oha.
Hä? Mike, warum hast du verlassen?
Bin rausgeflogen.
Da kann ich meinen Platz einnehmen.
Ninja-Grün, woher kenne ich den?
Wie?
Hey, Ninja Grün ist hier drinne.
Der ist da.
Das hier ist der. Guck das da.
Wer ist das?
Morgen.
Das ist Ninja Grün.
Da ist er.
Er hat mir eine
Kann sogar
Frage
so. Man kann
Ja,
sogar so.
nee. Vielleicht einfach so. Der hat schon fast jedem eine Anfrage geschickt.
gestellt. Kennst du den noch?
Nein, ich war wegen dem Backblink. Ich war wegen meinem Backblink. Deswegen,
Wie kann man das eigentlich bekommen?
Sag ich dir nicht.
du musst dein Konto mit Twitch verbinden und dann einfach eine Stunde
So
Twitch
cool. Ah, warte, du gehst ins Fischen.
Sehr schön.
Jetzt ins Fischchen und sagst, du schmecke mir jetzt.
Oha, er holt ihn. Er hat ihn geholt. Oha, er holt den anderen noch.
Ich glaube, ich sehe immer noch nichts. Aber man kann von hier aus sehen.
Oh, jetzt wird
Ja.
spannend. Jetzt wird spannend.
Du doch ganz vorne im Bildschirm und springst so.
Er holt ihn. Oh mein Gott, er hat ihn, let's go. Und er hat ihn. Episch hat ihn. Er hat gewonnen.
Wer geholt?
Dings
GG's,
hat
Bro.
gewonnen. Dings hat gewonnen. Fury Flowers, er hat 20 Punkte.
So. Wo ist der Emote? Da. GG's, Bro. Ah, warte, ich habe eine Idee. Geh da hinten hin. Mach so. Warte. GG's, Bro.
So, jetzt kommen die anderen, oder? Jetzt kommen die anderen dran, oder? Das ist ja jetzt. Ich hoffe, jetzt kommt jetzt Buga dran. Ich will ihn sehen.
Wer ist das?
Keine Ahnung.
Hä? Der... Sieht man das irgendwo?
Hello.
Ich mache aber mit. Ey!
Das ist von mir.
Ey!
The coolest thing though to me
Yay.
for Flow
Oha, der geht weg einfach. Wie ehrenlos.
Ja, Dings wurde erster. Furry Floss. Zweiter wurde Quartz. Ja, Mann, er hat den ersten gekriegt. Europa hat Spiele Floss. Oh, Gambit wurde dritter.
In third place right now with 15 points, a sign that he could actually be on that hot streak. Hen, a very hot and cold player. Letwick, though, played significantly well yesterday, and he's there again in towards the top placements, and also with a couple elims to put himself in fourth place. But and then the rest of this, I think, is kind of maybe a little different.
6 Kills hat der geholt, Alter.
Mongrel ist 20.
Ich weiß.
Mongrel ist 20.
Ich weiß, ja.
Mongrel ist 20. Mit 7 Punkten. Und 2 Kills.
Der ist ja so schlecht geworden, ne?
Ja, irgendwie schon. Man dachte, der wird flexen wie keine Ahnung was.
Oha. Ja.
Benji Fischi 24. Adam Sletty 22. Schmeckt.
Oha, wenn die Fischi hat nur 2 Kills gehabt.
Everyone here is focused on that win, and they're just slightly behind. Still, though, really hot off the gate.
Atlantis Ditch gegen ihn auch. Oha, der ist 22. geworden.
There are a lot of things and changes to what people might have been expecting. The plans you talked earlier about how to do their research and whatnot. It shifts a little bit in grand finals. People start to make decisions play with the mind a little bit of each other to, you know, force things that you might not be comfortable with.
A lot of that is going to dictate that drop spot, right? And how that could, I mean, we're talking about 100 of the very best in the world. If I'm going somewhere and my peer is going somewhere that I'm used to playing with and against, that is going to dictate my play and theirs.
I mean, it always starts from the early game, right? Just in general, the entire tournament, game number 1, your mentality is set in if you do well, if you do bad, and now everyone has different expectations. If you're like Flawless, you're at the top spot. You guys mentioned it. Now it's a game of endurance, of holding it. And
Mike, wie ist das jetzt eigentlich? Spielt der erste jetzt normal? Europa jetzt normal oder wie ist das?
Tournament after tournament, being uncontested increases your chances of winning tournaments by tenfold, if not more than that. So, being uncontested means you have nobody landing with you. You might be familiar with landing in a hot spot. You don't want to be doing that in grand finals or in set lobbies at all.
Mr. Savage! Oh, Mr. Savage! Der ist auch dabei. Mr. Savage.
On the northern side of the map. 2 other big names all the way at Slippery Swamp.
Achso, das ist Replay.
Da ist Benji Fisch. Da ist er.
Benji Fischi gegen wen? Mr. Savage, oder?
Was ist mit Benji
Ja,
los?
ist 3 gestorben oder halt disconnected.
Irgendeiner hat ihn, glaube ich, geholt. Warum ist so schlecht geworden, Benji, Alter?
Oh, Kitty Cat hat keine nice. Ey, er hat jetzt so OP-Sachen, ne?
Ich weiß. Fury, der hat gewonnen. Der war Erster.
Er ist auch erste Runde.
Der rasiert alles, Alter, der ist gut. Der wird
ja. Das war gegen wen hat er da hocken?
Oha, der ist...
Ja, guck mal, er konnte da nichts machen, der deiner Sohn war. Der Sohn war, der konnte da nichts mehr machen.
Der ist okay.
When you see what Flawless just did, and it doesn't matter where you land, you can always stumble across Kid's Shockwave Launcher.
And this is kind of like talking about the quality of the players we're seeing. But for someone like Flawless, it's like if he's gonna walk up and he's gonna take a
als wenn als wenn diesen Skin da gekauft hat. Ja, dann schenkt man das. Ich schenke das nächste Mal was. Wie was hast du überhaupt gerade?
which you did not expect from him running at Steamy stacks.
Was hast du mir heute alles gekauft?
And that he got sniped. There's also a number of different people who found
Für 2000.
Yeah, I mean, the big thing and the number one word for all these players right now is momentum.
Ja, für 2300 V-Bucks.
A bunch. Janice getting taken out, as Bala just mentioned, stops the momentum overall, right? So in game number 2, these guys have to find a way to rev their engines faster and then get ahead of everyone else with momentum.
Man, a lot of momentum here to start the day. Guys, I do want to continue, but I'm ready. Let's get ready to hop into game 2 of the Fortnite Champion Series in Europe. Let's see if the action continues. Sundown, play. Let's send it back your way.
Okay. Geht weiter jetzt.
Next round. Bitte mit Reason gezeigt. Ich hab Bock auf seinen Namen. Weil ich den nicht merken kann.
I'm an advocate for the fact that game 1 is a nice way to set the tone, but you really get
Okay, welche die
lobbies are going to play after game 2, because particularly with solos, it's about
welche gegen The Shark, welche gegen eine Country, 2 gegen Marleen, 2 gegen Penny, Jules, 4 gegen Daisy, 4 Ritual, noch 2 Raumspin.
If you're able to bounce back in that third and you really
Zwei
yourself at the
Fatima.
top, you got a chance. And that's
Energie Benji Fischer wieder. Ich glaube sogar Benji, die Dings.
Ja, Benji Fischi, da ist er. Savage ist tot! Oha. Oh, Savage, Digga. Oh, Finale jetzt. Ist Finale. Jetzt Finale.
Ja, das sind die ganzen Finals. Also Double Edit clean gemacht.
Fischi, komm, hol ihn. Fischi. Ja,
Und
Mann.
bestes.
Fischi hat den
Oh.
Gold.
Mr. Savage ist eigentlich.
Er tanzt. Er tanzt noch.
Disrespecten.
Doesn't even give him a point. Benji taking it down there. That's 2 elims right off in the start for him there. You can see in the bottom left-hand corner the 2 most contested areas are Rick and Salty Springs, each with 5+ players right now. So a lot of space being pushed out, and it's interesting to see 5 players in
Nicht noch was wichtig ist. Wenn man den im Cups hat, dann ist es sehr gut.
Yeah, I don't know why 5 players are there. I think it has to do something with Rezon. He scared everybody away from Holly Hedges. Anybody that normally landed in that path said, no, I'm just going to go try my chance at Salty Hedges.
Oh, da jetzt.
Ich muss gerade noch. Komm mit dem.
This is Mongrel, and he's
Oh.
been dropping here for
Mongrel.
a while. We know that.
Ja,
But
Mongrel.
he does not
Ich
have
hab's doch
Ocean's
predicted.
first AR and
Mongrel.
Ocean's bottomless chug jug. Someone else may have snagged it from him, and with his aim and with what he can do with it, that mythic burst AR is so good. Here from him.
Da
It
ist
looks
er.
like he's not
Er hat einen
gonna
geholt.
get it now.
Wunderbar.
He's got to be careful. He is running out of AR ammo, but he says, you know what? Who needs an AR? I got a
Oh my
shotgun
God.
and a crash pad. I'm going
Oh
in.
Gott, was machst du?
He's going to miss
my
the
God.
jump a little bit, almost deploying a crash pad there, but the continued pressure that he's keeping up is trying to keep this player from going any higher. And it's Smudge just trying to get away.
Was? Er hat ihn geholt.
Going to get in the
Oh,
box and
okay,
do that
okay.
Mongrel Classic and get the elimination.
Wenn er auf Pickaxe geht, ne, dann wäre es so dumm. Wenn er auf Pickaxe gehen würde. Wäre zwar sehr doll disrespekten, aber übelst dumm, weil wenn er einmal eine goldene Tank hat, 2
Da steht's.
Headshots,
Da steht's. 14 Punkte kriegt er. Oha, für ein Victory gibt es 14 Punkte. Juch, Digga.
Was?
Für
Deswegen hat Furys Dings 20 Punkte.
Für zweiter Platz, ne, gibt es 11 Punkte. 11 verfickte Punkte. Und Eliminierung gibt einen, ja wie immer. Oha.
Generally is a little slower from the user. Typically see a little more aggression going on. However, as you get further and further on,
Ah, hier jetzt. Dein Freund, glaube ich. Wave ist ja da.
Nein, Wave rechts.
Oh, Wave, das sieht nicht gut aus.
Stefan, Dings, Wave rechts gegen Wave Younges. Gegeneinander.
Glaube ich auch.
We're gonna go through. He's
Da
gonna
war's
get
ja mega
some
knapp.
damage, and he's gonna follow up with the
Oh,
AR. The
Sebi.
crowd spam is gonna pay off for him.
Sebi sind,
Elimination.
Wave wurde erledigt.
Now the
Oha,
question
Serbi hat
goes
ihn
to Sebi
erledigt.
is, can he go get Pit's loot? Can he go get the shotgun launcher?
Wie hat
Shotgun,
Sebi?
or he's
Hey, Sebi hat einfach 198 HP. Also so gesagt, 200 Leben, nur es liegt hier in 2 Schild.
and then head down and hopefully pick up the remnants of whatever happened at Category.
Oh, Dings ist doch dabei. Hartes. Gambit, da ist er. Ja, der war auch ganz gut. Der war 5. oder 6.
Halt, alle die da drin sind, sind gut.
Aber Mr. Savage ist raus, leider. Hab ich gesehen.
Players look to have just an immediate drop, but Letwick is set
Der
up
Lex oder so?
well in terms of his close quarters combat.
Ja, es leckt richtig bei ihm.
Genau.
Epic SMG as well as the tactical shotgun.
Ey, Amar wird sowas von einem Video davon machen, ne?
Ich weiß.
Pressure hard find. For an ambush here in a second, but right now both players just farming up.
Also wer das jetzt gewinnt, der ist Europa-Liga, europäischer Sieger, ne? Also in Europa.
Mhm. Ja, das ist ein Championship in Europa.
This side because I know how he looted from hard find perspective, but
Da kriegt er die Spitzhacke.
Würden, ja, würde Bugert oder so da mitmachen, dann hätten die Teufelslegs.
Gegen wen muss eigentlich Buga
Bugert
spielen?
kommt ja aus Südamerika.
Gegen wen muss eigentlich Buga spielen?
Bugert, er kommt aus Argentinien.
Ja, gegen wen muss er spielen? Ah ja, ich weiß, gegen wen er spielen muss. Gegen diesen Argentinier. Der ist Dings dabei?
Nee, Modern sind da. Was?
Ist Maxify da, dieser Typ da dabei, der von Ninja Spawn, der mal
Maxify heißt in Fortnite oder so halt entweder Maxify oder Maxify Games.
Okay, ich geh mal kurz aufs Klo, ich komm gleich.
Build through and walk through as you see the builds are gonna get broken. This is bad for Wolfies. He needs to get rid of the Marauders. The shots are coming in down to 11 HP. He's only got 2 builds remaining. Launch red place. He can't build anymore. Got a player right there in front of him. Sniper shot gonna come out and it does. It goes down to a Marauder.
Picked off there, but the Marauders catching Wolfies out. No builds, no natural cover nearby. Ardit soaking most of the aggression, him opting to go down. Ardit will clean up all of that. So good heads up plays by Wolfies to pick up the snipe, but the Marauders ultimately enacting their revenge there. And it can be so difficult when you get caught out by them, particularly in the open. The builds that will target those and will try and take them out. You're definitely able to kind of ditch them and get rid of aggro when you're around some of the more natural cover on the map, those houses, bridges, and the stuff that are nearby. But Vato not going to be happy about that, was trying to get a little bit of a third-party tag there, and Wolfie's punishing him right before he goes down. He says, hey, if I'm going down, you're coming down with me, and will also deny a key elimination point that could have gone over to Ardit. So ultimately, he's going to be upset his game is over, but at least he was able to pick up a little bit. He's now back on board here with Flawless, and as we can see, he's used to fast starts, placing first with 5 Elans in Game 1 of Heats as well. So let's see if he can turn this confidence into something more, as he is over the northeast side of the zone with plenty of players around him. However, he has
Habe ich was verpasst?
but not a ton of material to do it. You don't want to be forced to burn.
Einer wurde von Maradona geholt.
Also.
Ja.
However, just so much harder to get.
Und da war noch einer dabei. Was ein Sniper!
Immediately he's gonna head over there because he's like, hey, I need those refreshers. When we talk about refresher in the term, this is it, because that's gonna be refreshing for him.
Der wird den Pokal holen, safe.
Ja, er wird, aber er wird es leisten.
That's not enough going into an competitive Fortnite game. You definitely want to have a little bit more like Noah Riley. And now has the loot to show for it. They got coming in clutch with this loot. He's got this player down though with those tags, but the big shield gonna be popped there. Now Noah has to be careful. He wants to go aggressive. His instinct is to push in with that crash pad and get the aggressive play, but That player back up to full HP. He's got to be careful. Shots go through the
Ja, der
middle.
wird den Cup
Not gonna
gewinnen.
connect on
Der
the
ist schon so
shots
gut.
there. No.
Der eine.
Over the top. Shots come
Yeah.
Der
through.
21
One
Punkte
tag
hat oder
there for
22.
Auch mal
and
mit
now he's
Execute.
going to get crash pad in. It doesn't matter though. The crash pad is actually going to send him away. He's got to keep the pressure up to keep this player from popping any shields, and he's got the player back and forth, up and down, up and down. He's got the crash pad. He's
Oh
going
my
in.
God.
Shots are going to come through. The player puts the stare over the top of his head. And another good tag there. Noah's not able to find him. Noah's not able to finish him off. The player continuously layer
Oha.
shifting,
Er holt
up
den.
and down
Jetzt
in
bestimmt.
between the builds. And Hydro is just trying to run for their lives.
Deswegen.
Hydro's trying to put as much
Das
distance as
ist
possible.
Gott,
And
das war ja anderes.
unfortunately going to go
Er hat
down
den
there.
geholt.
Good job for Noah
Over.
Riley on the chase. We talk about how
Ich dachte, es
important it is to resolve
Dings war.
fights, particularly because you don't want that opponent burning those resources.
Als
When you do
erstes.
take them down, they'll drop them there, and you want to get as much as possible.
Ja, warum ist es da so blau?
Back up to 6. Good job, still has 4 crash pads. And one thing you'll note in particular when you're looking at these mid-game fights and what you should be keeping an eye on. Anytime a player has crash pads, that will enable them to push into boxes. You've seen it in 2 different ways, both from the top down, where they throw it against one of those cones because it lets them fall in, and then a perfect example.
Ach du
Showing it
Scheiße.
right there. Fighting against hard finds very closely with 6 HP. That's the horizontal crash pad where you line yourself up.
Orange hat ihn geholt, der Deutsche.
You throw it against that corner and it'll end up landing right behind you, and it pushes you forward into the box, but it won't affect.
Ich frage mich, ob schon mal ein Deutscher gewonnen hat, den FSLS Cup.
Ahead of
Also.
time, and most times it'll also put you
Ja,
behind them, so
wozu?
they're not able to play defensively. As Orange is trying to play defensively,
Der und der nicht.
comes in and says, "Hey, you didn't have enough
Er hat
time
den
to
geholt.
reset and get your shields up. I will
Er hat
take
den
all
geholt.
that loot.
Er
Thank
holt
you
den.
very much."
And that's the dangers of taking a mid-game fight is that if you take any damage, you're going to get third-party. Players are going to recognize that shield crack sound, and they're going to move in. But on the other hand, look at Lewick. He took that fight, got out, and now is on the move. But Carrie's setting up an ambush, and the shots coming through. Lewick has been cracked. Look at the box separation that he just did there from Carrot. Get a time.
Oh, Gambit.
The
Er ist er wieder.
top is not his. He does get a nice layer change coming out and above, but he doesn't have enough time to pop the big shield. And he does get it off, and now he's looking for a shot. He needs to put the pressure back on to Carrot, because if not, then he's just going to keep running around, and Carrot's finally going to be able to get a shot on him. And Carrot decides, you know what? Not worth my time, not worth my materials, not worth my HP. I'm going to disengage.
I'm 50-50 on that. It felt like if Carrot had kind of kept pressing, he might have been able to pick up Letwick, particularly because, look at Letwick, there are only 20 total builds coming out, but that also means if you are able to take him down, you're not going to necessarily get that much back. You'd only get the 35 total, and it's really not going to be that beneficial unless you're able to rotate cleanly off of it. Both have the crash pads, but now you can see fight going on here between Diablo and NXS Z-Andy. Z-Andy on the back foot here, and Diablo trying to push forward somebody we've seen had the capability of playing aggressively. He is above that Storm Surge threshold, so just trying to hunt this player and doing a good job of keeping Zandy on the back foot. Does get the cone replaced, owns both, edits back under. Zandy able to replace that stay there, so Diablo just going to reset for a second, make sure he's still back up at near that 100-100 threshold, and then Zandy going to go down, so good job making sure he picked that one up. Zandy was below that Storm Surge threshold. Diablo will see that coming through. The Storm Surge will take that over. So that's what we talk about right now. You can see on the right-hand side, Diablo is currently 130 damage above. Zandy was below, which means he takes that 25 damage every 10 seconds. And it also signals to Diablo, hey, I can just tag this guy up and then wait, because any damage he does for to that player, as long as they go down within a minute, he will still get credit for that elimination. He will still get the point, then he can go over and safely pick up that loot.
That is another aspect of competitive Fortnite that everyone has to think about. That Storm Surge, it plays a factor into so many of these players' games. Sometimes they forget about it because they're pumping, they're rolling, they got their mats, they got their ammo, they got their builds, they're in zone. And then they're like, wait, I didn't tag anybody this game. I got to look for tags. Frenzy Fishy on the other side above and a good amount above. If you're about 100 to 150 above, you're looking at a good spot. As shots come through, he's going to take advantage and find swaps with one AR shot. That is what you needed. We saw Thomas HG do that in the first game. Just find any sort of elimination that you can, far away or up close. Don't even have to risk yourself getting tagged up for it. Beautiful elimination.
Yeah, but you notice how he's doing that behind a cone and editing a single wall. That's to avoid all of those hunting rifle headshots that we've seen come out time and time again. You don't want to get a game ender looking for some of those tags to make sure you're safe. But that being said, when we talk about tags and going through, that's generally meaning you're looking for long-range shots, not with the intention of actually trying to eliminate the opponent, but just doing some damage so you're not threatened by the Storm Surge. As Flois and Froggy puts a prime example of why you need a cone in a window and to limit the number of angles you have, because so many of these top-level players will be carrying those weapons, particularly in EU, that is known for their snipes and hitting their shots. Well done from the game number 1 winner, who's continuing to roll with the momentum here. Boxed up next to Arctic, passive over the side as we're transitioning now into that mid-game kind of territory as players are starting to get closer and looking for priority in terms of zone number 4.
What an elimination. He needed it too. He only had 2 hunting rifle shots.
Mike Gott den Sniper Headshot sehen
didn't
müssen.
really have a chance to follow up if it didn't. Very heads up play by Flois. First place, taking down second place. That is, hey, that's pretty good for your mentality. Even if he goes down here and be like, hey, I took out my competition, so I know I'm pretty secure there. But we're still pretty early on into the game, so you can't really do much with it.
And it's important to note when they stress during the top of show how every single interaction matters. Right there, Flois eliminating his direct competition right now, the player who is closest to him, who's able to pressure up. That means if he's able to build up a lead now, it's going to be that much more substantial, because effectively he's eliminated one of the players who can threaten him the most, as now we're on board here with ADN. We saw him have an amazing run yesterday, pushing in. Right there, you can see the Dorito edit being taken down, and that's such a good push. Fastroki was looking to set up a crash pad there with that edited cone in his box, but ADN dropped in and then occupied the space, stuck to the AR, and then just used the weapon to close it out. Well done getting a key pick there in a mid-circle.
And he desperately needed his match. Were not looking good. Still are not looking good as well. So he's going to have to find another impact elimination along the way. As we're on board here with Ardent, again, mats are not looking good. Now, there is a player's loot there in front of him that he more likely got the elim from. He's not actually prioritizing picking it up right now. It seems like he's just looking to build and then go for the loot. Mr. X is nearby. Benji's nearby as well. Artist in an awkward spot. We've got Scram in this game here as well. Handy, passive, slick. A lot of players still alive. 61. When we talk about Storm Surges, this is a threshold where it's 50. 11 players need to go down. Darda makes a heads-up play to get a box, and Crash Pad's going to come through, but that's bad for him. Unless he hits the shots come through, and he does. Maestro going to go down the aggressive play, not going to be rewarded. And Ardent will be rewarded for his passiveness.
Yeah, and you can see the reason why so many players are fighting right now, both that Storm Surge and trying to get priority. We talk about 4th zone. Look in the bottom right-hand corner. Everyone is looking to box up and stake their claim on as much real estate as possible for when that half-in, half-out reveals. You don't want to be sharing a spot next to somebody as you go to rotate, and they're looking to clear out the players nearby. As Ardent picks up Flois there, so 1 and 2 far down. That's going to open up the leaderboard. Tons of players will have an opportunity to charge up. Eyes are now on Hen, and whether or not he can kind of extend his lead out there, as Ardent also picks up Lexi. Mongrel getting scout there in a brilliant job, because he's now cleared out all the players on this tarp in that next, the half in, half out, the one before moving, is pulling directly over this cluster of players. So Tayson, Benji, Helix, Wyzip, Mr. X will all be over there, sharing the half in, half out with Ardent. They all have priority on everyone else who's rotating into the zone. So they're going to be fighting among themselves to make sure they're safe and not going to get ambushed, and then swap over to what Tayson's doing now and looking to catch the players, burning their rotation, burning launch pads and crash pads, trying to get into this zone.
And this is very lucky for Tayson, because, again, express the amount of builds in the inventory. He only had 54. That is not where you want to be for this endgame. So he has to find an elimination to get to these moving zones effectively. He does have the 6 crash pad, but when you start to use those crash pads, you start wasting those builds as you box up, and he needs to find somebody. As shots come through, he's not going to be able to beam people out of the air just yet, as we do see Nebby unfortunately falling, but he did get that top 50 placement threshold, which is what a lot of people are playing that consistency. Hey, at least I went down inside of that. Tayson, however, is looking to get aggressive, and I believe that's on, I think this is Benji. I'm 97% sure Benji is right nearby. If Benji makes the wrong edit, he goes into a box that's not his. Tayson is going to go aggressive. The big shoulder's going to be popped. Edit's going to come through. No crash pad in. Shots coming through. And Benji's going to go down. Tayson going to take him down.
Called it.
Was?
He was looking for it, waiting for Benji. He heard him trying to set up and get some space, knew he was pressured around the side. The horizontal crash pad entrance puts him behind Benji, cleans it up with the tactical shotgun, and well done. And Hen, the third place player on the leaderboard before the last game, going on the high ground right now, has priority position with Enos and Mongrel just below him. Also Floki on the same ground, but we're going to hop on over to the Become Legends player. He's been playing so well recently, cleaning up the Cash Cup on his birthday. Had a phenomenal performance yesterday to also guarantee him spot here, and he has priority on this next zone. What that means is he's the closest to where the safe zone has to go past. So as it funnels and everyone else rotates, they have to go past Hen. You do not get to pass Hen, and you notice he's built so much space around him, so he can't be shot at in return. All of these shots are completely safe, so anything he's able to convert on will turn into points for him here, as another placement point does take over. Now he's not shooting through that wall. That is just one of the graphical issues with the replay. He's picking up tags, but now you can see setting up a crash pad, going to use it to go on the rotation late. And he picked up a key elimination onto Wyzip there, as we have our top 35.
And it's such a key elimination because he gets Jules' glider gun, and now he's got free rotation everywhere.
Mike?
He could win this game based off that elimination. It was such an impact elimination, but he's being a little bit too greedy on that zone. He did get tagged up, but he's still good. Rotation coming in. We do see Safek going down, and rotation X Squeeze went down as well. So a lot of the big names are out of this game, but Hand looking to keep his dream alive and take down one player who landed right on top of him. That was a very, very heads-up elimination onto Pablo, but he's not that healthy. He has those minis in his inventory, about 126 effective HP. He needs to find another one.
He needs to find the outside. He can't be in this cluster. It's really weird to take the grapple gun and then immediately go into the middle, because you don't really have the ability to utilize it, and that's what we're looking for, getting towards the outside of the zone so he has more options there. Anas, teammate up on the high ground there, but this is the solos competition, just playing for the same org. You have Gamers Origin, Deceptos there on the middle as we take over top 25. Another point going through. Anas running through the high ground. Reason still in the match, and you can see Deceptos picks up Ardit there as top 20 takes over. Another point going through, and right as I say his name, Reason ends up going down. This is looking like a Become Legends top 15 right now, as they have 3 or 4 players still up, but Deceptos trying to find the space, finding a good job, tarping his way through and making sure that he owns all of the builds on this level as we close in on top 15. Bad Sniper missing out on a key placement point, and Ashfab player doing a good job to deny the rotation, finds a tag, but not able to necessarily convert it. So many shots, but no elimination coming through, and he has to find that. That's such a key pickup. Inside the top 15 we go. Can he chase down this player?
Oh.
He finally gets it. That snipe going down, but Hen is still up, picking up Orion as we get into our top 10.
Deceptos is going to have to make a play as it's going up a little bit of an incline. You see it. The old builds are there as well. Hit is going to fall. Slick going to fall in tandem. Top 10 placement points being missed out by both of them. That's a huge boost as well. Deceptos able to hold on to the player on the other side. Shots are coming through. He's getting the tags, and he does. Frenzy Fishy is going to go down. Deceptos needs to get out of zone, though. He is sitting and ticking. He doesn't have any floppers. He's looking to get in, and he does, but a shot comes through. Floki going to be the one to take him down, and now 2 eliminations here for Floki. The player right on top of him. He's got to be careful. Shots go through. Back into zone goes Floki. Ticking down very, very low. Now inside his zone, he's good to go, but this is looking really, really rough. He doesn't have floppers. Mr. X is going to go down. Stacy going to be the one to do it. He's still trying to be popped there. And look at Anas just Tyro whopping all the way up top. He's just walking over old builds. I don't know how many builds he's got left, but he may be able to win this just solely based on the fact that it's going over old builds.
And the old builds giving him priority. That moving zone, we talked about it. It just randomly pulls a distance back away, which means you can continue your rotation. And on top of having the old builds, his saving grace has the mythic loadout as well. So this is so big for him as we move into the top 5. 4 players left, but Anas has complete control over this lobby. You can see Tayson as well in the middle. Scramguard and Snazy are going to round out your top 4. Who will finish it off? Will Anas continue the run of the caddy corner loot, proving it out, or can somebody from the low ground shut him down as Tayson picks up Scramguard? So each elimination, each placement here, an additional point as Tayson ends Snazy right there. But the shockwave launcher comes out right away and knocks him over to the zone. And Anas does get tagged, but he's able to pop the flop in the zone and then gets the follow-up tag with 6 HP to spare. Become Legends Anas from the high ground. 4 eliminations in the victory royale, taking game number 2.
The flop was what he needed to pop, and he did do just that. The victory royale going to be nice. I think may be able to move into first place after that game just on the number of points and the eliminations, but we're definitely going to need the analysts to break that one down, so we're going to send it right over to them here in a moment.
Thank you guys so much. Great cast here in game number 2 of Europe. Anas finding the victory royale there. Mad props to him. Now, here's the thing, though. Tayson, another big name we're used to seeing. We keep talking about the quality of players. This is someone who is coming in strong. Ends that game in 5 eliminations. Had he picked up that BR, that 4-point swing would have actually moved him higher up the leaderboard, and we'll see that as we take a look at the standings and look at who is currently holding down that number 1 spot.
Usually who ends up winning the game is always at first. That is the same story here right now. BL Anas all the way up top. Victory Royale, 7 elims, 28 points. But what happened that game was a bunch of eliminations from top players, changing the standings from 2nd all the way to 10th.
And there's BL Hen in 2nd there. Somebody definitely to keep an eye on because he plays 4th in the first game. Not necessarily the biggest boost in points this game. Other names too, Deciptos, who's the king of placing 5th place. The French legend who came out there in the Invitational starting to rise up. But then Tayson, Zeke, you mentioned him. Getting that 2nd place will boost him way up, but he could have done more. Reason still stays around the 9th place mark, but still improves at least in this game.
And there, we move on over Letwick, Scramguard, Bad Sniper, Kinzel, Mongrel, Carrot. I mean, look at all these names. Thomas HD, Floki, Frenzy Fishy. There's so much heat coming off of the grand finals right now. Every single person could walk away the victor, and especially when we're this tight, and we still have 4 games left to go, boys. Anything could still happen. There's all these guys at the top making these power moves right now.
You're saying look at the names. I'm looking at the points, too. You're mentioning that it's tight. It's like a 2-point difference between everyone. They are neck and neck. Become Legend Slicks is here, too. Twain's, Ardeets. Like, all these guys are playing so well, but they're playing well while others are, too. And no one can really break away. Benji, who we're used to seeing in the top 10, at 24th. And from what I'm seeing, he's having good games still. It's not enough, though, for that number 1 spot.
It's kind of another kind of slow start for Benji, which I think some people are maybe starting to get a little used to. He always rises at the top, but that might be a sign that it's back to, the old Benji of Grand Finals, the one who does get good performances and is in the top 10, top 15, very solid out of 100 players, but not quite that win that he's looking for.
And together, guys, we got to talk about it. More of these powerful plays coming out of these impact players, making what they need to happen, really manifesting this win right here, right now.
Yeah, Grand Finals is all about power, and it comes in many different forms. We're starting off with how power struggles on early games off-spawn fights, and Noah Riley, Mr. Savage, they had a big battle down. Noah showed that he was more powerful.
And it's all because Benji scares Noah into going somewhere else, but into somebody who might end up struggling because of it. Benji, though, saw a sign of weakness, and because of that, he will pounce, try to grab more space. Kiriachi looking in the background, and Benji knows, and he will hunt. This is one of the best players at fighting in the early and mid game, and Benji is not scared whatsoever.
Got power vacuum basically here over at Slurpy Swamp, and Benji gets in the box with style, breaks through, hits a big shot, and shows his power afterwards as well.
And is that show of power, is that show of confidence something that we're used to seeing out of Benji? I say yes, but it might be overconfidence as he pushes a fight against one of the best players in the world. Now we're switching over to Flois, and for him, it's a shift.
Yeah, for him, he was holding power in game number 1, continues to, dropping down Froggy, who was in 2nd place on the leaderboards at the time, but holding power sometimes comes with a cost. He loses it over to Advise, and we see one of our new players who are in that 2nd place slot.
2nd place for Hen after a very good game number 1, and follows it up with a pretty decent game number 2, a 10th place for him, but a couple of elims to boot. And that will put him where he needs to be if he wants to grab that crown at the end of the day, the ultimate sign of power. He falls in 11th, but that's at least solid enough.
Yeah, and this is where power starts for a lot of players in this game. It was Anas who ends up winning, who had Caddy Corner and the Mythic Loot as well. The Shockwave launcher hits charge shotgun too, and he just made Power become his tool in this endgame. He became legend incarnate, literally just personifying the organization he's on and using this entire endgame as a playground, bouncing people up, shooting them down afterwards. Look at that two-piece right there. Anas looks so dynamic, and yes, we saw Flowis with the hunting rifle. We saw him with the charge shotgun last time, but for me, it was Anas's gameplay, his creativity that really separated him from the pack and showed us his use of power.
And Anas, that's kind of what we were talking about at Caddy Corner last time. We saw Thomas there for a brief moment, but this time it goes down. Kit spawns down at the gas station, and that's where Anas is lurking. He had a good game last time in 10th place, but if you want to become a legend at the end of the day, if you want to solidify yourselves among the great, immortalize yourself, you need to have games like that. And Anas and Hen, both at the top of the leaderboards, org mates, and they're standing strong.
Both of these guys are definitely looking to break away. I mean, Anas is ahead of the game, 28 points, but Shy, is that going to hold?
Didn't hold in game number 1 with Flowis. I feel like when Anas gets that top slot, he holds it completely, especially at Caddy Corner. So I feel like, yes, that's my call.
I like it. Quick and concise. With that being said, guys, let's throw it into game number 3 here in EU of the FNCS Grand Finals. Casters, we're sending it back your way to get into the action.
Thank you so much, Zeke, Shio, and Bala. Insightful as always, and everyone is looking to become a legend, but right now the Become Legend players occupying first and second. And if you're just joining us, welcome. My name is Sundown, joined here by the fantastic, as always, Playstyling. This is match number 3, the halfway point of the EU FNCS Solos Grand Final. And if you're watching at Party Royale and you just dropped in, hit one of those telephone booths, the changing stations. Make sure you get your favorite outfit on, then head on over to the main stage, catch the action out. You can see where everyone's dropping right now.
And if you notice, the yacht only has one player on it, so I'm interested to see who that player is. Is it Savage? Is it Noah Riley? Who came out on top? And of course, who's going to come out of Caddy Corner on top? That is always a question in all of these players' minds.
Right now you can see cutting over the top of the lake, switching over to Anas, who's landing over towards the weather station side from Caddy. You can see looking to figure out if he's going to be able to go through, pick up any amount of that loot, drop down into this area, see what's going on. As of right now, doesn't look like he's actually going to have a contestant in, but you can see also a number of players off and over just to the southwest of him. So right now, first shot coming out, we talked about those early hunting rifle tags, but not quite going to find it again. Anas, game number 2 winner, current first place right now.
And he's in a very good spot to keep that first place, but hidden right behind him. We've got to keep our eye on that elimination feed for that come up as well. If Hidden, only 3 points behind, is able to make a play to start to make the ground up, is Vadil going to get some nice shots there. The Dug Splashers, though, are going to get that player up. The nice edit is going to drop the player down. The edit around as well. He's got him boxed up, but the fish is going to escape as Vadil looking to crash pad on in, using the jump there. He's actually not going to go in. He's going to take the wall and the cone up top. And that was so smart to outplay Advise there.
Well done picking up Advise there. We talked about kind of the different types of crash pads and then the variations you're able to use. Him jumping up prevented him from falling in. So then when Advise went to exit the situation, got picked up, and now over to Slurpy Swamp. We watched this fight happen last time. Benji aggressively pushed Kiriachi, saying, no splitting going on here. This is my side. But Kiriachi now looking to be the predator instead of the prey and closing in on Benji as he's hitting these slurp barrels. So wants to kind of resolve this beforehand. And now box to box, how do 2 of the best players in the world close out this box fight? Do they look to take each other on, or are they just kind of trying to disengage the situation? Right now Benji's saying, hey, I need more mats if we're going to go toe to toe.
He disengaged perfectly, got up, and is out. I also want to point out 35 of the current players also competed in the FNCS Invitational Finals. So they've been here before. They've been in this Grand Finals. They know what to do, especially these 2 players on the screen right now. As Kiriachi is going to take some damage there from Benji, who is keeping that pressure up with that rare tactical shotgun, and now seem to find a creative way inside. Kiriachi actually went up and around the shots going through, exchanging high ground and exchanging shots. As Benji takes a nice tag there on the Kiriachi. He still has yet to take any damage himself. Kiriachi is still pushing. This is exactly what we expect from him. And Benji baiting him to drop down. The Kiriachi was ready. The back and forth going in favor of Benji right now. Kiriachi keeping the pressure up. Benji going to get tagged up a lot there because he couldn't build the floor. He's trying to pickaxe for that code as the edits come through. Benji going through old builds. This is really good, but once you reset that metal, it is very, very weak and it's easy to hit. He's put some distance in between him, Kiriachi, and Domenia Snipe.
I was about to say, Domenia Snipe, hearing the action going on, wants to take a peek inside, but he very well knows who's there, and I'm not sure you want to jump on into that pond. Don't want to get boxed like a fish between those two. It's more like getting boxed between two sharks. A rock at a hard place. You pick which one and who's who, because Benji, right now, just again, looks like he's done enough to fend off Kiriachi. You say, how long are we going to do this for? How long are we going to burn mass and just sit here and force each other back? Because both of these players are good enough to hold the other off, or at least make them pay for it, if you don't get that initial ambush off of the start, which is why you now see Kiriachi.
Digga, das war spannend, Mike, Alter. Fischi, Alter, hat verloren, ey. Der hat richtig... Nein! Der hat richtig reingeschissen. Mongrel, Alter.
Ey, falls irgendwann so wieder Dings von Reason ist, mach mal einen Screenshot bitte für mich.
Was?
Egal. Ey, mein Ping gerade, 5er, 7er Ping.
Meiner ist normal.
Und jetzt geht's wieder.
But Diablo was ready for it. Did you see how many edits he had, how many space he had in between him and Seventor? He was predicting that perfectly. But Seventor's ready for the edit. He's ready for Diablo hopping up, and he said, you know what? I'll bait the heal out, but I'm going to get that elimination.
Yeah, and a really good job from Seventor there, baiting Diablo into something that he had owned and committed him to the fight, caught him with the build out, and then following up with the tactical shotgun. And it's really fruitful to resolve that fight because there was a player boxed up right on the edge of zone who would have been able to bring shots down.
Digga, wir müssen noch 3 Spiele gucken oder 4 Spiele, dann kommt erst das Finale, Alter. Das dauert noch lange. Irgendwie habe ich jetzt Bock auf Arena, Alter. Oha, er holt ihn. Er hat ihn geholt.
And he may have taken coolest out of his name, but right now he's the coolest of the authority, picking that elimination up. He's been very, very good. He actually, I believe, one of the players that came through the open track of the FNCS Invitationals. That happened a couple months ago, but still maintaining prowess over the authority here. He was here back in the flood, but anything dominant performance from Carrot. He's also got the zone there as well. You see him already building up.
Ja?
Farming.
Was ist? Ja, komm. Ich komm gleich rein. Ja. Hallo?
Ja. Ich auch nicht. Das ist Idioten.
Pushing their way up the leaderboard, but Deceptos picks up one loss and
Ja,
Savage
ist er
picks up
runtergekickt.
the Andy. So still a who's who of top players left. So that's everyone in the lobby. As Thomas AC gets another one. Monroe picks up an Elam and Rifle. Ends Mr.
Ist da runtergelaufen. Von der Konsole, aber ist er wieder vorne. Gelaufen.
Is their Patty loot, and right as I say that, Thomas.
Ich muss offline.